Hello, I'm Jessica Pierce, the founder and CEO of Career Connectors, and I'm excited to introduce you all to somebody very dear to our hearts and is a fantastic business owner. Is going to talk a little bit about business ownership today. And so I'd like to introduce you to Anna Brambilla, and she is with the Entrepreneur Source. Hi, Anna. Thank you for being with me today.
Thanks so much, Jessica, for having me. This is wonderful.
So many people are interested in different kind of businesses. We're in a gig economy where people are doing side gigs. They're also going into full business ownership. The economy is kind of all over the place right now. There's some instability. So people are trying to really take control of their future. And so I wanted to bring in some experts, you being one of them, as a business owner. So can you kind of tell us a little bit about your story and what you do?
Absolutely. Happy to talk. I, about 6.5 years ago, was working for companies, had bosses that were awful, got sick of the politics, got sick of the living my life for somebody else, working incredibly hard and making other people rich. And I said, there's got to be a better way. So I looked into starting my own business, and very quickly got overwhelmed and realized there's just so much involved with everything that needs to happen with that. Attended a workshop on franchise options. I said, what the heck, I'll take a look at it. Worked with an Entrepreneur Source coach and looked at a bunch of different options and just kept coming back to the Entrepreneur Source because I liked my experience with my coach. Shout out to John, he was a wonderful coach. And what I liked was that he had my best interest at heart. He was detached from the outcome. The only thing he wanted was for me to find something that was going to be the best fit. And so I signed as a franchisee with the Entrepreneur Source and have never looked back. I just love what I do. Two things to remember about what I do. At all times, the only thing I care about is my client. And whatever is best for my client is what I'm happy with. And there's no cost to working with me. So if you happen to end up something, that's how I would get compensated. But that's not my motivation. My motivation is helping people, and along the way, things work out very nicely.
Yeah, Anna, I've noticed that you have attended a couple of our events over the last couple of years. And one of the things that I love is the way that you connect with people. And you're really interested in, what are you looking for? What are your interests? What do you love to do? What would make a better life for you? I love that you dig into people's lives and ask them about that.
Thanks.
It's really important. So one of the audiences we serve a lot at Career Connectors is the veteran population. So people transitioning out of the military, they've retired. But we know that veterans are just a wonderful, they have a ton of skill sets, a ton of experience, but sometimes they're not sure about their next step. And so can you talk a little bit about, do you work with veterans? Do they make good business owners? Tell us about that.
Absolutely. Veterans are uniquely qualified to be phenomenal franchise business owners. They bring so many skills to the table. They bring the leadership, they bring the communication, they bring the team building, they bring the ability to work within the system, but show and create their own system and make things work. Interesting statistic that I read recently was that veterans only make up 7% of the population, but make up 14% of business owners, which really tells you that there's something special about the veterans. And what they bring is so much the self-discipline, the resiliency, the ability to work with people of all backgrounds, leadership, critical thinking, self-confidence, and that ability to think and make things happen. That's really what, not that veterans are unique that way, but they more than any other population really bring that to the table. And so that's really phenomenal what they do.
Yeah.
So
I've noticed that when we have worked with some veterans, I've heard repeatedly from them, I just feel like I don't fit in the corporate environment or the model. And so I can see why they're really driven to go do something maybe different and unique that really matches their lifestyle. Do you see that as well?
Very much so. Yeah, the veterans are coming from a very unique environment where they're given very structured, oftentimes very structured parameters, but are allowed to make it their own within that. And we're finding that a lot of veterans are coming out and they're underemployed. And they're not appreciated for the leadership skills that they have. Whereas with a franchise, that's exactly what they're looking for. A franchise is a proven business model with structure, but you still have the ability to make it your own. We talk about being in business for yourself, but not by yourself. And I love that concept. And that's true across the board. That's true for everybody. Right. So not just for veterans, but everybody. I liken it to those meal prep kits, such as HelloFresh or Purple Apron, not to promote those, but you get the idea. And you get the box with the step-by-step ingredients. You get all of the get the step-by-step instructions. You get all the ingredients. Sometimes you have to add your own. You can play with it as much as you want. The more you deviate from the original recipe, the less likely you're successful because you're changing something that's already been proven. Veterans get that. Veterans uniquely understand this is the system and they know where they can tweak and where they can't tweak and are trust. And oftentimes, by the way, very importantly, franchises will often give our veterans a discount on the franchise fee because they recognize the service that they've given to our country and the skill sets that they bring to the table.
I think I've not heard that analogy before. I love that because of the way they're trained up to do their jobs as a veteran, it's easy for them to walk into a place that has a system, but then they still have ownership over it, but they're learning from the system. Fantastic. Okay, let me ask you, sometimes people hear the word franchise and it scares them, or they think it's maybe a scam, or I don't know, they don't like it for whatever reason. So talk a little bit about the myths and the misconceptions of franchising as a business owner.
Absolutely. Well, the biggest misconception, I think, is that you have to have $1 million plus cash on hand. Not so in our system. We have a couple hundred plus franchises, the majority of which are less than $200,000 total first year investment. Many of them are less than $100,000, and funding is very readily available. I can get most people funded. The other big myth is that they're only in fast food or fast casual, Subway, McDonald's, things like that. In our system, only 4% of the franchises have anything to do with food. So there's huge varieties. You can serve kids, seniors, pets, fitness, travel, home improvement, home restoration. You get the idea. There's a huge variety. So those are the two big misconceptions that if I could get everybody to understand, that would be huge.
I think that'd be interesting if we did like anybody watching this did a day in the life and realized how many touch points along your day you are in a franchise. I was at the gym this morning, franchise. I have to go mail my packages, franchise. Like so much is run by franchise organizations.
So true. And you're just talking about the bricks and mortar. Just to give you a quick story, I had to move my dad from Colorado to California recently. We used a franchise to find assisted living for him and his wife. We used a franchise to clean out the house because they've been in there for 40 years and to do the estate sale. We used a franchise to do the moving of the car. We used a franchise to do the property management. We did a franchise, there's a bunch of other things, but you get the idea. There was just all these things that you have no idea are franchises.
Yeah, it's really phenomenal. And so such a great business model because I know launching my business 15 years ago, I did feel alone because it was my own business and I would sit there day to day going, okay, now what do I do?
Yes, yes.
So you have the systems. Well, Anna, thank you so much for being here. Any last words you'd like to say?
Just if you're interested in exploring this as an option, I have the sign above my head, welcome to the safe zone on purpose. I provide a safe zone for people to explore. And I love working with people who are just curious, no obligation, no cost. Let's talk, see if this is something that might be worthwhile for you to explore. Thank you.
Great. We will drop Anna's information below this video and then in all the social media platforms. Thank you again for being here. We love partnering with you.
Thanks, Jessica. Take care.